What's the worst part of depression? Mom suffering with you for no reason of hers. When it's so ingrained in who you are that you're afraid that without this deep heartbreaking sadness you'd be no one, an empty shell. If I'm sad, at least I have some personality. Without it, who am I? The total apathy. I forgot who I was, I don't know who I am. Complete emptiness in every aspect of life. Nothing brings joy and I don't want to be around for the future. I just want this to end. Those times when you become just completely numb. No sadness. No happiness. You're just there. And it sucks. Even if I'm sad, let me feel something. Sometimes you might see a silver lining, or a spiral leading to a happier status, but if that fails you feel even worse. Apathy. Bouncing from one thing to another, searching for something that makes you happy, and being bored or disinterested in all of it. For me it's losing interest in absolutely everything. Don't want to watch TV, read, go out, play games, don't care about my aquarium or houseplants. I just want to lay in bed and stare at the wall. I don't even care to doom scroll. I started a downward spiral recently. Luckily I had the means to start seeing someone when I finally recognized this was a constant losing battle and am doing better. What I recognized in that downturn was that negative things, no matter how or small, were enough to knock me down. It was like day in and day out I was being flattened so I couldn't stand back up again. And if I did manage to stand up I was hit even harder to stay down. It made me hyper aware of everyone around me too, so that I thought everyone disliked me, so I pulled away from the people around me too so I wouldn't burden them. Because I pulled away, I couldn't get help from the people I needed and I distrusted them more and felt so lonely. Again though, I am doing better. I would recommend to anyone to try to see a therapist and take medication if you are willing. My personal experience, I could feel a difference between when I wasn't taking medication to when I was, and I felt freedom from my negative thoughts and emotions that I have been experiencing even longer than before I took my serious downturn. Maybe not the worst, but a specific recurring issue I've had is not being able to be emotionally responsive when people die. I'm sad. I care. I'm just not very there. No caring enough to do anything to make it better. Being happy for a while and thinking, wow, maybe I am cured, then the big sad hits again. Feeling like you're alone and that nobody truly loves you, even if they say they do. If you're depressed, reading this is even more depressing. Emotionless. This is when you realize that emotion is like breathing. You don't really notice it when it's there, but you die if it's not there. In the case of breathing, you knew you needed air. But emotionless? You don't know what can fix this. Not forgiving yourself or giving yourself a pass for being so utterly useless. Being angry at yourself for not just being like all the other happy-go-lucky idiots who don't overthink. Things like that. Not enjoying things you would normally find fun. Just a overall general sense of boredom. Most people who haven't dealt with it will never understand it. Not being able to let people know. It tricks you into thinking you're fine. I went 2 years. 2 years without finding proper treatment because I swore I didn't need it. Now that I'm on proper meds and with a psychiatrist, I can see now just how horrible it made me. Pushed a lot of people away. After having depression for almost 9 years, my memory is not what it used to be. I can barely remember conversations my fiancé and I have over a week at a time. I feel like I'm forgetting important parts of my life because of my mental illness. 95% of people don't know you're depressed. Or don't know how to help if they do. Your pets suffer. People are able, if they want, to understand. Pets never will. When I was suicidal, I knew nobody would take care of my snake, salamander or snails because everyone thought they were gross. Pretty sad when the only thing keeping you from crashing your truck is because nobody will feed your snails. Smile. Nonsense comments from people trying to help. Have you ever tried not to feel that way? Look around you. There are people with much worse problems, just smile. And other absurdities. The suicide part. You know you can do it, but your body just says no. I know I stayed in bed countless days wishing to do something, but I couldn't because, well, I simply refused to. I used to love getting up every day to walk my dog, but for a month I couldn't. My parents scolded me, which led me to just scream at them. Everything and everyone annoyed me. I only wish I could have gotten help sooner. I regret hurting the people I love and becoming someone who was such a stranger even to my own self. Having your depression disregarded as you being generally lazy or unmotivated. Listening to women complain about it all the time. I had a psychiatrist tell me to my face that I don't seem depressed and that she was prescribing me to just get a life. She basically validated all the depression thoughts in my head. It ruined me from reaching out for help forever. The worst part is when people don't understand why it keeps you from doing certain things. The worst part is the "well, just don't be depressed" advice. The effect it has on the people closest to you. Being depressed all the time. When everything in your life is going really well but you feel like shit regardless. I don't know, the fucking part where you are depressed. Hygiene. It's impossible to summon the energy to take a shower. So now you're greasy and gross, and that makes you feel worse, so it's even more impossible to summon the energy to take a shower. Oh, look, and now my greasy hair has been touching my face so much that it's breaking out, so I feel even more gross and depressed. One time I cut off my ponytail with the kitchen shears cause I couldn't face trying to get the mats and tangles out. The stuff you used to love feels like a chore. I can't watch shows I like, play games I like, or even talk to people I love. I just lie in bed sleeping most days. Self-doubt. A depressed mind can't be trusted. It will lie, and tell you that you are worthless. A depressed mind cannot process logic, and since you can't experience anything outside of your own mind, you're fucked. People who occasionally feel down cannot imagine the pain and agony of deep depression. They tell you to snap out of it as if one can. Knowing exactly what I should do but not caring enough to be able to do it. No energy, guilt, the complexity of explaining the condition and how it's different from being just sad. Also the fact that while there's 100,000 medications you can take, a big side effect in most of these is suicidal thoughts, which you kind of wanna avoid. Several of my friends didn't. Feeling stuck like you can't do anything about it. The emotional numbness. Trying to recover from depression and substance abuse, there are so many times where you feel like you're the odd one out. Like not fully engaged within the conversation, and it spirals until you think that you simply are not capable of talking to anyone. Couple that with seeing all of your exes having the time of their lives and you've got a recipe for disaster. That's where I'm at. It feels suffocating. No one really likes a depressed person, which makes you more depressed. Knowing that you're capable of so much more, but you just can't. Even just getting up and brushing your teeth more than once a day feels like a major achievement. Every bit of it. Physically I am fine. I can lift the same amount of weights I lift at the gym, I can bike the dozens of miles I bike in a week, I can run the same amount of miles I run at night. But mentally, I can't leave the bed, and I have absolutely no interest in doing any of the aforementioned things at all. It's like my eyes perceive a sunny day as if the weather is overcast. It could be a beautiful, bright sunny day outside, but all I see is grey and blah. I can't move, bed is the only way. Yuck. Out of the blue sadness and not knowing why you're sad. You could be having the time of your life, then bam. Sadness. Also, not caring for your own well-being and not wanting to do anything. Not knowing you're going through depression. Not identifying that what you have is depression and just continuing to waste the best years of your life in a state of sadness and apathy. The soul-crushing emptiness. How it took any healthy aspects of my wife away from me but magnified the unhealthy ones. How I lost a wife and my kids a mother for nearly 4 years. Things still haven't fully recovered, nor will they probably. The scars remain. The depression returns periodically, thankfully for not as long. Fuck you, depression. You destroy so much. Every day the hole gets steeper. You sink so low no one even notices you anymore. No living thing depends on you. It's just you, and you cannot be reached. I wish for you all to one day find a spark deep down inside to light your path to salvation. Feeling like you're dragging your loved ones through it too. The distortion of your thoughts. Hating yourself and not knowing if what you are thinking is accurate or warped from depression. Feeling better, getting into an upswing, cleaning and organizing your shit, getting back into good habits and watching it all fall away when your mental state starts to crash again. Trying to escape it. Trying to commit suicide. Everything is hard to do. Every decision is hard to make. And doing nothing feels just as bad as doing something. Not knowing why you feel depressed. If you don't know the problem, it is almost impossible to find the solution. The depression part. Missed opportunity. Time evaporating.